welcome to another episode of Tavern Watch Plays. This week we're playing Brindlewood Bay, a cozy little game set in the quaint New England town of Brindlewood Bay, where a strange and mysterious number of murders seem to happen here. It's a nice, quaint tourist town, historic whaling town, and it's sort of reinvented itself as like quaint little cottages and vacation homes and historic buildings and old bookshops, and so it cashes in on the tourism thing. It's sort of historic boardwalk and seafront area. Really a gorgeous little town. Who would not want to live in this amazing town? And just don't talk about the murder statistics here. It's just not good. Very peaceful. So I want to start by introducing our players today. And I will start with Matt.
I am Ludmilla. I like cats.
Okay. If that's what we got.
You told me that you didn't tell me if we're doing the cozy little place thing, and now we're not. Sorry.
Well, I was just, could you tell us a little about Ludmilla? And yeah, let's go ahead and do our sort of cozy little place scene. Think of this as like a TV show and the intro credits are rolling and it like zooms in on you and we see a little of what you're doing while it says. Matt.
I'm doing is I'm feeding a cat, and then there are more cats and more cats. There are a lot of cats in this house. There is a painting of me and a much shorter man, my husband Gordon, who unfortunately passed away 20 years ago. And since then, I've been accumulating cats because Gordon loved cats and I loved cats. And inside the coat, I literally have like a pocket just for a cat, and then I have a pocket for various cat-related stuff. Like in this case, I have a little catnip mouse that I pull out and wave around for the cat, and the cat attacks it and then drags it into the coat. And I'm like, oh, little cat, you little good cat. And yeah, that's basically, I used to be a powerlifter, but I failed to get into the Olympics in 1980 because the Soviet Union wasn't invited due to the Afghanistan war. And so I defected, but when I defected and met my husband, Gordon, who sponsored me into the United States, I didn't continue to pursue powerlifting. I just got a job as a nurse and worked as a nurse for like 30 years, and then I retired. I like mystery books because they are exciting.
Indeed, every one of our characters here is a member of the Murder Mavens Book Club, which meets once a week on the top floor of the Candlelight booksellers to discuss the latest murder novels. But they're particularly fans of the Gold Crown Murder Mysteries by Robin Masterson. So that's what brought you together in the first place, the lot of you. So we're going to do a little thing here where everyone has their house, their cozy little place, and you have things in your house that you can maybe use to give yourself advantage on rolls. And we're going to come up with what you have in your house by asking everyone else here at the table to say one item that they think you would have. And I'm going to go, and then we're going to go through the rest of our introductions like this. I'm going to go with Joan. What do you think Ludmilla might have in her house?
She's definitely got a bottle of that feel away spray that calms cats down when they're stressed out. It might be the version that'll calm humans down too. I don't know.
Okay, what about you, Mitch? What do you think Ludmilla might have?
What do I think Ludmilla? Not what I have.
Not what you have. We're doing this role playing thing where we're talking about.
I think Ludmilla would probably have either a picture of cat or another, a crochet cat.
Crochet cat. You can't go wrong with a crochet cat. Though, knowing cats, does the cat survive the other cats?
There are many crochet cats for my daughter.
And Matt, you want to add another item to this pile of items that you have in your cozy little place?
You ever see the tool that people have that does like you can trim their nails, you can like groom them. It's like a multi-tool but for cats because we have one. And quite
Okay.
frankly, I can't imagine having more than one cat without having this thing because it just allows you to like, oh, they got a mat in their fur. Okay, I got this thing. I got little scissors. I got the big nail tripper chippies. Yeah.
It's
So yeah.
it's like a Swiss Army knife, but
It's got a
for cat.
laser pointer because cats.
Absolutely.
That makes perfect sense. Now let's go to Joan. Could you introduce us to your character?
I will be playing Louisa Margrove. She's sort of an outdoors type. Loves to garden. Um, she's probably in her sun hat right now, getting dirty, digging out some weeds. She owns every episode of the MacGyver show that was ever produced, even the new ones.
That's a life choice for you. So let's do the same thing. And Matt, what do you think Louisa would have in her cozy little place?
Duct tape.
Absolutely.
That's kind of a no-brainer there. And Mitch, what do you think?
One of those like it's a digging tool, but it's like the circular one that's almost in the shape of like a small pot. So
The
like just to cut up.
post digger.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like really
Very handy.
used.
hmm
You've got to have your gardening tools for, definitely for gardening. Of course, that's what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And so we have our third player here. Mitch, introduce your character.
Hello, my character's name is Bordy. Bordy likes to collect things. Because one time Bordy found this old rusty knife, which I traded for a new fork, and then I traded that for a nice piece of paper. And then I wrote a letter on that paper, actually, and the recipient of that letter sent me a sticker sheet with their reply. It was a really lovely sticker sheet full of cat stickers. I traded 3 of those stickers for oatmeal. That oatmeal sent me to the doctor, whomst I later married. And after he disappeared, I was left with a lot of money. So now I collect things wherever I go because that old rusty knife, where I am today. You never, ever know. Look-wise, I have a very strong feeling that yesterday's fashion is tomorrow's fashion. So I'm always wearing the clothes of yesteryear. But I can never really pick out which yesteryear, so it's just like 5 different fashion styles at once, and it's gonna work. And tomorrow, you will see that, because everyone's gonna be wearing the same stuff I am. Bordy.
Okay. Well, so I'm going to start with you three have
You're
actually
not doing anything for Mitch's character?
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
we need the
We do. Yes, my brain was running ahead of the rest of me. So yes, what do we think is in Mitch's character's cozy little place? Let's Joan.
a bunch of those vintage marble sets, like the cat's eye glass ones that you can't buy anymore, that sell
Ooh.
for like super a lot on eBay.
Like that.
Yeah. You never know when you're going to need some marbles. So yes, Matt, what do you think Brody has in her cozy little place?
A 1913 Buffalo nickel.
Okay.
Yes.
So good luck working that into the story.
It's worth a fair amount of money.
Also, it's
okay.
to be clear, Bordy.
Bordy.
Like birdie.
Okay. I'm
like
sorry.
birdie, but with an O.
Okay. And Mitch, what do you want to add something to this list? Something you think you
What's in
would
my
have in your
cozy
house?
place?
Yeah.
I think I have an old kind of a button that unbutton.
Okay. Well, I want to start out by saying you three have solved a mystery before, and you never went. You didn't come to Brindlewood Bay thinking, "Oh, I'm going to solve mysteries." You came here to retire on the seaside. Yeah, but yes, maybe you've just read a few too many novels because you've stumbled into solving murder mysteries. And I would like the three of you to tell me, what was the first murder mystery you solved? This happened just a couple months ago, and I'm gonna say one of you starts out with who the victim was. One of you tells me about the investigation, and one of you tells me how you wrapped this up. Just kind of a little preamble to our episode today. Uh, Matt, why don't you tell me about how Ludmilla stumbled into some kind of horrible murder in town?
Took cats to vet.
Hmm.
Vet office was trashed. Vet was dead. He was a decent vet, Mr. Simerson. Oh, Dr. Simerson, I suppose. Uh, he was good with the cats, and he was dead. He had been smashed. He was very dead. Extremely, like forklift falls off of mountain on top of you dead. But there was no forklift. I did not see a forklift. I was quite shocked. So I actually said, "Oh no," because emotion. I was a little out of control. I may have actually said a swear word. I'm not sure. Poop is a swear word here. I don't know. Anyway, yes, it was very bad.
And Bordy, why don't you tell me how the three of you investigated this mystery?
Well, I decided to investigate everything, investigating all of the shops around. I was investigating the reactions people. I was mostly looking stuff in those shops while I was investigating, but I was investigating everything else. Ludmilla, I believe, just kind of conveyed the emotional response of the group to press. Well, I might add. Um, and then Louisa helped, calm down the cats, and also asked anyone else at the kind of did the vet office investigation while I focused on everything else, and Ludmilla conveyed the emotional reaction.
I love that we've appointed a 6.5 foot tall monosyllabic Russian woman wearing the equivalent of a spirit hood, except that it's an actual bear. And she's the one going, "It's very sad. He was smashed."
All right, well, let's go to Louisa. How do you think you caught the killer?
So we figured that the means of death was actually a cabinet that was pushed over onto this fellow. Um, but we were thrown off for a while because the cabinet was empty. Um, so whoever used it emptied it out, took the stuff to their house, and we were able to look at the guest list of who had come in that day, and we sort of broke into some houses until we figured out who had the stuff in their house.
Is not breaking into a house if you knock on the door and say, "Can we come in?"
You are
I feel like we have to say
That was, I mean, to be fair, one of us did knock on the door while the other snuck around back, and
yes. So it is not breaking in. Is not breaking in if we ask first, even if they're not actually home. I'm sure if we leave a note, is not breaking in.
They
that
they
makes
know us.
perfect
Well,
sense.
they know us well enough. I know they'd let us.
Okay, so yes, you solved this crime. You turned over everything to the sheriff's department. The associated ne'er do wells were arrested and taken away. And wow, job done. What Brindlewood Bay is now a safer place. So you thought. I'm gonna ask, um, which of you're out celebrating because look, we've been reading these murder mysteries for so long, and now we've had our own murder mystery, and this is, this sleepy little town where occasionally people get murdered is just wow, we've did it. We've become the stars of our own detective series. And I'm going to ask which one of you thinks you would be most likely to maybe take a stroll on the beach. Maybe after the celebration you're walking home alone. Who thinks they might
Oh,
be
I definitely would be searching that beach for baubles.
So you've had this celebration, maybe a glass of wine, you maybe got a little crazy and
3.
had 2 glasses of wine. Oh wow, that's whew. Um so
Big ones
everyone's
too.
heading off. Oh dear. Everyone's heading off home, but Brody goes out and does a walk along the beach on the way home after this strange murder celebration that you've been having. And as you're walking down distantly down the beach, you see you creep closer, trying to stay out of sight. You see a circle of people in dark cloaks chanting,
Ooh, what's
like,
going on?
and you can't make out the words what they're saying, but it seems like they're saying something in sort of a rhythmic way. And you creep closer, trying to tell what they're saying. In the distance, you can see this clearly under the full moon, but then a shadow comes up from the water, and you for just a moment you don't see the moon at all. For the moment, it's just the dark blackness of night surrounds you, and then it's gone. You see the sky and the stars and the moon, and you don't see any figures. Nothing. Nothing is on the beach. You're alone.
Whoa. How far away were they?
Um, they were close enough that you could hear them, but not close enough. You could hear them chanting. You could see they were shadowy figures in the distance. So you saw this. You went over to where they were, and there were footprints in the ground. But even your keen, searching eyes couldn't see anything except this is some strange mystery. This is beyond what you would have expected in your quaint and definitely not murderous small town. And when you get home, there's a message on your answering machine because I bet you have like an old fashioned answering machine with like a cassette tape
Yeah.
in it. Uh-huh.
Yep.
And maybe you may have a collection of cassette tapes just lined up on the shelf. You go home and there's a message from a voice that you don't know who this person is. It's and they're telling you to go follow the masks. And you have no idea what this
The
means.
masks?
Follow the masks. You have no idea what this means, but since then, since solving your first mystery, you have occasionally gotten more messages from this person, always asking you for something, giving you a hint, or perhaps asking you something that asking you for something that you might leave at like a dead drop somewhere. And you've never seen them, but sometimes they'll leave these messages and give you like these tiny cryptic clues as to something coming that you haven't put the pieces together, but you're sure something is there. And as this new day dawns, as we head into what is definitely not going to be a murderous scenario at all, it's a perfectly normal sunny day in Brindlewood Bay, you've gotten another message that tells you to look for a scrimshaw and to leave it in the usual place. And you're listening to this thinking, okay, we've got a community college that has a maritime history department. They probably have a whole collection of these things. We have a museum that probably has a whole collection of these things. How am I supposed to? This is going through your head, and then it says the mystery voice on the answering machine says, "You'll know it when you see it."
Ooh, I am excited. This is one of the best messages I've gotten.
This is a particularly dramatic one. So you're all getting together for your weekly meeting of the Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club up in the Candlelight Booksellers. You've been reading the latest book, and but this is kind of you're doing kind of a quick meeting this week because it's fundraising night at the Brindlewood Bay Whaling Museum. And this is really very exciting because one of you is a great supporter of the Whaling Museum and has signed up to give annual donations to them ever since they were, for as long as you've been in Brindlewood Bay. I'm gonna which one of you thinks they are this person? And I'm gonna say it's gonna be Ludmilla or Louisa, since Brody kind of already has some stuff going on over here.
Bordy.
I don't think.
Brody,
Yeah, I don't think I would be particularly interested in whaling, unless they're like cats. Like, I'm pretty focused on the cat thing.
you're pretty focused.
Yeah,
on
probably. Probably. They took me out on one of the ships once. Just as a favor, I got in some great fishing time. Learned a lot of things for my novel.
Yes, they do have. There's a historic whaling boat that that's docked on the seafront that is owned by the museum. It's not. It's a historic boat, so it's not in the best of shape. So they don't usually take people anywhere with it. So yes, that was a significant favor, and so you're. The three of you have decided to go together to the big fundraising night. It's a big party, essentially, at the museum. Um, you come up to the museum. It's kind of an unassuming building at the end of a street. Sort of. Uh, it's just a big square box without windows, but they've tried to do it up in a fancy celebratory kind of way, where the outside is painted in murals of old whaling ships sailing the sea and whales in the waves, and it's all very cheerful. The entrance is kind of done up like an old. It's got a tower like it's an old lighthouse, and a big banner hanging over the front door says, "Welcome to the museum." There are a bunch of cars in the parking lot. You do have a view of the sea from here, but not a whole lot, and not from inside the building. It's kind of a parking lot seaside view. So what is everyone up to? What do you want to do from here?
I mean, I just generally kind of meander, like, in the same direction as the rest of the party, but I sort of, wander, kind of taking zigzag path or loopy path just to see if I, spot anything on the ground or little collectibles that I might, find useful.
I lumber very methodically from display to display, reading them carefully and slightly out loud because English is not my first language. And the whaling ship was first designed in its current, most recent form in 1812 and stuff like that. And then I would be like, okay, the boat was for killing whales. Seems kind of mean. And you go to the next one. Spermaceti was an organ inside of so they were killing them for oil inside their heads?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's just like Avatar.
What is that?
A movie.
Oh, the one with the cat people.
I think so.
Yes, they were
that sounds
cat
right.
people.
Yeah.
They plugged themselves into things with their head tentacle, but otherwise they were cat people.
And then they stopped space whaling.
I didn't know that space whaling was involved.
Yeah.
Harpoons. Okay, now look at the harpoon one now. Harpoons were often used to. This is a lot of detail.
So the inside, the lobby area of the museum has been decorated up pretty fancy. There's a kind of bunting and glittery hangings along the ceiling, like it's this attempted impression like you're under the ocean, and there are like paper mache whales hanging up there, and it's all done fancied, gussied up, and there are waiters walking around with trays of little glasses of wine and champagne and hors d'oeuvres. And of course, the museum curator, whose name I do not have in front of me, George Pollard, the museum owner, is trying to. Going around, shaking hands, trying to be cheerful, but he's clearly he's a little nervous. And, they need this fundraiser. Louisa, the museum is always in need of something. It's an expensive endeavor to keep up this collection. The whaling ship is incredible, but it's also a money pit. So this is an important event of the year. So, Louisa, what are you up to in here?
I'm actually doing a little bit of behind the scenes helping, just making sure that the kitchen's running well, and tending to all the little last minute fixes that happen when you have way more visitors than you expected.
Yeah, but more visitors than you expected is great, but it's also very stressful. There's a catering truck around the back of the place that's bringing in food, has all of its neatly dressed waiters going around. There's also Dr. Burko, Dr. Catherine Burko, which you might know Catherine. She's so she's the curator. She's a very accredited expert on 19th century industrial whaling, and she's pretty overqualified for this job. But she's trying to stay in the shadows, but she's also trying to make sure that all of the exhibits are, safe, because now you've got a bunch of philanthropists and curious onlookers just kind of in the museum with food and drinks, and she's a little anxious trying to run around, and perhaps you're helping her sort of.
Yeah, I already had to
splice
a rope back together after someone got a little too enthusiastic touching something.
So yes, there's lectures going on in the little auditorium, and when you venture a little further into the museum, and Louisa, you would know this, but at the very heart of the museum is the skeleton of like a 50-foot whale hanging overhead with these sort of sun-bleached bones looming under, it's like the ancient corpse of a thing, but it's also like the ceiling is painted like you're underwater, and there's kind of tinsel hanging off the ceiling to make the whole place look more festive. There are exhibits all over the place, but it's kind of there's a bit of a morbid sense here that you've got all of this glitz and glamour, but also whaling was bloody work. And now we're here under this giant whale skeleton.
You can actually see on one of the bones the scar marks from the javelins, the whaling spear there.
A harpoon is the thing right over there that talks about it. Well, isn't that something, Balthazar? And you see me lift a little ginger cat out just enough so we can look at the skeleton, and it starts going. It's like reaching for it. No, you can't have it. It's too big. You get back in there.
Hello and goodbye, Belthy.
What did you do with the stickers of cats? You had a sheet of them, you said once in the story. I never saw these stickers of cats. Why are they not here?
They're part of my collection.
Where did you get them?
I got them as a reply from the letter I sent to my friend.
I'm watching you.
Do you want a sticker?
I want many stickers.
I'll take you down to
Okay.
the dollar store tomorrow.
They have a dollar store?
It's kind of on the edge of
It's-
town. It's the new, because sort of the newer part of town.
Do you have any idea how easy it
Focusing
is
on
to
this.
get cat toys in a dollar store?
Yes, I
Why
do.
was I not told of this?
I could have sworn I mentioned it when it went up.
You actually, I believe, voted for it at the last city council meeting.
I don't go to city council meetings. Oh wait, I did.
That
go to
wasn't
one.
you?
No, I did go. I did go.
Oh, okay.
I was actually trying to vote for the resolution to close the shelter and open a no-kill shelter in its place. But luckily,
yeah.
we solved the murder, and they just closed the kill shelter because I said so. That was my one thing I got.
You also voted for the dollar store.
I wasn't paying attention. If it didn't involve cats.
That's politics.
But it is good that we have the dollar store. Do we have to keep standing under the whale, or could we move? Because quite frankly, I feel like I'm standing in a place where if somebody wanted to do something bad, they would use the whale. And like in the book, the Gold Crown book, where the dinosaur is dropped on top of the people, and and the curator is killed with it. We don't want to be under there.
Well, there is a gift shop. There is also a special exhibit just about Scrimshaw. And Louisa, you would know there's a staff area that's maybe a little out of the way if you wanted some quiet time.
Yeah, we can step in here.
Because the whole museum is pretty bustling. This is kind of a big social event. The catering is pretty good as you're going to get out of the back of a catering truck. So yes, there are people everywhere chatting.
I know. I was looking at the whale bones, kind of to see if there were any markings outside of the usual markings from harpoons and such. But when Ludmilla pointed out that it could be used to drop on me, I did step back a little bit, and I caught eye of that Scrimshaw place, and I think I want to check that out as soon as I can.
Well, if you want to head in that direction, of course, we could always have fun splitting the party. Everyone loves that.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna immediately see if there's anything about Vikings and their boat cats, because I know Vikings had cats on their boats.
Okay.
But maybe whaling ships had cats too to catch mice. So
there
I'm gonna
might
go.
be a Scrimshaw of a cat.
There might be, but I'm not going. We're splitting the party. I can't go with Bordy.
You don't have to split the party if you don't want to, but I'm just offering you this exciting opportunity if you do.
Oh, I want to.
You don't have to stick together. Okay.
I'll go to the gift shop because that's where I could probably find anything.
There's probably cat stuff there.
Maybe there's a cat whaling. I mean, I hope not, but
fish.
Well, I mean, you could probably find something for cats there.
Okay. And Louisa, which direction are you going in?
Yeah, I'm gonna duck back into the staff room for a bit, see if anybody needs something.
So I will start with the order here. In the staff area, it's kind of half office space, half storeroom. There's a lot of filing cabinets. There's a lot of shelves with things that aren't on exhibit, things that are in storage rather than on display. There's a big work table with some bits and bobs that maybe are being mounted for display. And right now, as you go in, you bump into Catherine coming out looking a little frazzled. Because this is... Oh, I'm sorry, Louisa. If you need a moment, like I do, certainly take a stop in the staff room and I really appreciate your help. So busy, and these people don't all appreciate collection.
I just came to see if anyone wants me to smuggle in some of that crafty from the catering table.
Oh, I appreciate you. I think I really feel like I need to stay on my guard tonight to make sure no one spills like a bottle of wine on any of these 18th century whale drawings.
Yeah, maybe we should get more of those rope dividers. Keep people back a bit for next time.
I wanted to put them everywhere, and then cannot remember this guy's name, and I don't know why, because his name is George. It's such a straightforward name.
The George Ballard?
George Pollard is the museum owner. I wanted to block off all of the exhibit space and just have the event in the lobby, and George said no, we had to show off all of our collections. We can't block people off from the collections. This is nerve-wracking. I understand.
You get art stolen from the Louvre. I'm just going to say. I am not on George's side.
Louisa, anything else? There's the staff of the museum is actually Catherine is the only full-time staff member here. So it's Catherine and a lot of volunteers mostly.
Yeah, I'll see if they need anything from the catering table and
yes, there are a couple of interns here getting some credit for their community college courses.
Oh yeah, they need the
yes, with the crowds here tonight, it's been really busy just trying to do just basic crowd control and keeping slightly tipsy patrons from, falling into, touching things, tripping into exhibits, all of that. So let's go to Ludmilla. You're looking for cat-related history here. As you were looking between the exhibits, you come to a gentleman who's sort of he's almost holding court back in this corner where there are lots of old sketches and drawings of ships and the life on ships. He has this perfect cornflower blue bow tie. It is the most perfect bow tie you have ever seen. It's just perfectly tied. He's wearing a corduroy jacket, and he has a little crowd of people here where he's talking about what life on the ships was like. And you see, they have all of these prints on display, but these are just reproductions. I think it's really quite sad that the museum does not have more original artwork on display, because certainly the history here is very fascinating and just kind of on and on like this. But he does have a small crowd of people who seem to be very interested in what he's talking about.
I'm going to I guess I will just kind of orbit them and actually look at the things he's talking about rather than him himself.
So yes, there are sketches of these look like sketches that were maybe done by sailors, sort of on the hunt for whales. There's some downtime where you're not any whales. Going from place one to place two, I suppose. So sketches of the decks of ships, sketches of the ocean in the distance.
By the way, I looked this up. Tons of cats on whaling ships. Not even kidding.
And
there were a lot of them.
It makes sense.
Hitting us.
Here's a picture of Captain A.J. Haley with his cat on RMS Empress, 1920. So yeah, there are tons of them. They're all over these freaking boats, especially whaling ships. Yeah, they had cats. So I find one of a ship's cat, and I just look at it, and I'm happy because there's a cat. I also listened to him talking about the display because I noticed that they do just have them out and about, and I listened to the thing about them being repubs, and I'm like, where are the actual? Actually, I'll even turn to him and go, if these are reproductions, do you have actual original ones?
Well, I don't work here. I am a professor at the Brindlewood Bay Community College, and actually, for being a community college, it does have a pretty well-renowned maritime history department, which I think that's just common knowledge. That's sort of a point of town pride, is this sort of mark of history that the community college carries forward. And it is just a little disappointing to see this collection has so many reproductions. Well, you see this one here. This one here looks like an original. Yes, I think. And he actually goes and looks at the one with the cat, kind of peering over his glasses. This is an original. That is quite nice. You don't always see them preserving this sort of slice of life scene, because it's more than the excitement of fighting the waves or of slaughtering the whales. There is just all of the day-to-day, which is where you see something like the cats there to keep the mice and pests off the ship. This one is very interesting, but yes, a lot of these, there are a number of reproductions here, disappointing number.
Thank you.
And he doesn't take a particular interest, but he does kind of carry on, sort of holding court here. He's got some sort of older residents of the town who may have money, may be willing to donate, who are kind of holding up their noses because this is not what they thought it was. And but also some younger academics who may be here from the college because he's here trying to impress or whatever else. But he carries on there. Let's go around to Bordy.
I'm investigating this scrimshaw place. Did you say it was like a shop or stop or display?
It is a display. There's kind of a whole room dedicated to scrimshaw, which are, of course, intricate little carvings on whalebone or other kinds of bone. Most of them are, there are fish, there are ships, there's, you see a piece of bone that's been carved, a large piece of bone that's carved into like a cribbage board. All sorts of little bits and bobs. Some of them have abstract shapes and symbols. And you're searching around here. What in particular do you think you're looking for?
I'm just kind of looking for something that speaks to me. I'm both investigating just kind of out of general interest, but also like hoping that I look at one of these, and there's a feeling there, or if I see a mask on any of them, I'm gonna kind of look a little.
A mask.
Like a mask drawing, or one that's done.
Okay. It's like, this little piece of whalebone is wearing a mask. Okay.
Yep.
That was what immediately came to mind when you said that. I haven't been having y'all roll a lot of dice. I'm sorry for that. I'm going to say make what the game calls a meddling move to search for a clue. That means you're going to roll 2d6 and add your let's add your reason to it.
Okay. One of these is a little rubbery, so it might bounce. It's a 4, a 3, and plus that 1, so 8 total.
So an 8 is a success, and this is just you're rolling your 2, and so a 7 to a 9 is a success, but there's a complication. A 10 plus is a pure success, and a 12 plus is a success with something a little extra. So, you're going around and you see, you're just sort of looking for something that like stands out to you somehow, something that looks different. But then there's just such a wide variety of these things. You finally go and you see one carved with a face on it. You're not sure, is it a mask? But it just catches your eye. And you're wondering about could you get it?
Can I steal it?
Well, I'm going to say that's the complication. You see it behind the glass, but it is locked. There are a number of other people here, and you can't just pick it up and pocket it, even though you do see something that's interesting. It strikes you as like a Greek-inspired kind of mask, like that sort of over-exaggerated facial expression.
Okay. I want it. But it says, well, are there any other things that look like this in the room that I notice, or like I want to like see if this is the only one that looks like this. Now that I've spotted this, I'm looking for it more closely.
Okay, I'm going to say no. At least you're going through these things, but there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of people crowding around. You do not see anything that grabs your attention like this one, based on the tiny cryptic hints you have gotten.
Okay.
But I'm going to say at this point, everyone hears kind of like the clinking of glass. Everyone, a toast to the museum that's kind of coming from the central room.
Okay, before I leave this room, I'm gonna go back to the spot where I saw the one with the mask shape.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pull out just a little it's kind of like a coin, like it looks like a coin, but the face is rubbed off and it's a little bent. I'm just gonna pull it out and I'm gonna leave it on the floor right in front of the mask, so I know that's the spot.
Okay.
I can come back here and I will be so sure.
Okay. So back in everyone's sort of gradually coming back into the middle of the library of the museum. And the waiters are handing out to make sure everyone has champagne. You have the museum owner, George Pollard's kind of standing in the middle-ish, but he's not particularly tall, so he's getting lost in the crowd and he's holding up his arms, trying to keep the attention going. Holding a drink. Next to him is an older gentleman with a smile who has his checkbook out and is writing, and George is just, yes, thank you. I want to, everyone, please, I want to give a generous thank you to our great patron, Mr. Cornelius Absalom, a great philanthropist of this community. Thank you so much. And Cornelius is there with kind of a sort of watery smile, handing over this check to George. And now a toast, everyone. You should have your champagne for the future of the museum and the remembrance of the past of Brindlewood Bay and other communities all up and down the New England coast. And everyone, I imagine everyone drinks, and they're just sort of polite clapping kind of thing going on. What are the three of you doing?
Well, I've got a glass, but I'm not drinking out of it because I don't drink alcohol.
I will drink Ludmilla's.
There you go.
Thank you.
I mean, if you
I
don't want alcohol, okay.
But I don't drink, so I'll hand that. I just don't drink alcohol, period. It's just not something I do.
I mean, if you did not want that, there's probably also sparkling water or something like that you could get if you so desired.
If somebody told me that, no one told me there was sparkling water. Why don't tell me things?
I hand you one.
Thank you.
I know you don't like the.
No, it's Gordon and I. We did not do. But Bordy got the alcohol one I thought was the only option. So she's happy and I'm happy and you're happy.
Let out a little
I have no idea if you care at all. But I'm happy to accept what you give. Thank you.
No, I'm the designated driver, so.
Yes, you don't want me to drive.
I will be going around making sure that people with full glasses or perhaps the empty glasses stay particularly away from the more easily damaged exhibits.
Kind of some of the excitement is dying down. Some people are starting to leave. It seems like the museum that Cornelius gave this donation that has really kind of hit the goals the museum was trying to reach. And it's quieting down here. There's some whale song coming out over the museum sound system, which is starting to sound a little weird over the kind of cheerful conversation as people start to... some people are heading out. The crowds are thinning. And I'm going to say that Louisa, you spot, being a friend of the museum, you spot, I'm being real bad at names today, guys. Edgar Nickerson, who is a graduate student who has deep family ties to Brindlewood Bay. He's from an old Brindlewood Bay family. Gone off to do graduate studies, but he's back in town for the summer to doing some study at the community college, and here he's been volunteering at the museum with their collection.
What's he doing?
Well, he sees you. He's been, he's here for the science of things, but he's actually been doing mostly picking up glasses as people have just had their drink and like set them down. There are wait staff here who are trying to do the same, but Edgar has kind of found
He's
himself
doing what I'm doing.
probably, because people just take their glass, they set them anywhere. It's like, no, that display case is not. That is not a place to leave your champagne glass. Thank you. But people are filing out. Things are calming down. There's kind of a rush of little bits of trash and detritus that they've left behind that some of the volunteers are sort of rushing around to pick up. And but it's quieting down. And Edgar comes over to you and says, "Oh, it's so nice to see you, Louisa. I'm so glad that not everyone here is just getting drunk and spilling champagne on 18th century books. It's fine. It's going to be fine."
Yeah, Catherine, I think, was about to have a heart attack.
Yes, she's so committed to the collection we have here, and yes, we don't have a very large collection, but everything is important, and obviously the museum needs money to keep it going, but I do not think everyone here is as much of a fan of maritime history. It does not necessarily see its importance as much as some of us do.
So, how are the studies going? Are you studying that sort of thing, or you going for one of those fancy science degrees?
Oh, I'm in on the history side, really. I mean, I have done some study of oceanography. It's, it helps you knowing about the sea and the creatures that live in it, make you better able to understand the sailors and the fishermen and everyone who went out on the ocean. All of these things tie together. So, well, I do know a little, but I'm afraid I know you're more interested in that side. At least I think you are.
I like fishing.
Yes. But I've been studying the history side more, and particularly the history of Brindlewood Bay is quite fascinating. I'm sure
actually kind of new to town. Perhaps you could enlighten me.
Well, I mean, you know about the Deep Reaver, of course.
Who?
Oh, the Deep Reaver. It is an ancient ship that was sent out from Brindlewood Bay in it was one of the last whaling ships, but it came back with very few survivors. And all of them a little they had grand stories of creatures they had found out there, but few of them made it back home, and most of it's been relegated to mysteries. It's one of the most famous maritime mysteries of the area was the Deep Reaver going out onto the sea and encountering monstrous serpents and creatures coming up from the deep. It is so interesting, the tales of the sea that come back, but the Deep Reaver was from Brindlewood Bay. It went out from this port and came back to it. It is an intriguing mystery. And, actually, one of these galleries here have reclaimed wood from the Deep Reaver itself as part of the flooring. It's really magnificent to look at.
Which room?
Are we in earshot of all this?
Yes, I mean, all of you can take place in this if you want to.
Okay, because
probably quieting down enough that you can overhear.
Yes,
because at this point, I feel like, well, I was actually going to interject and say, do you have anything from the ship? But I guess you just answered that question. Huh? well, I want to go check that out. Or actually, no, I'm gonna ask you to tell me a little bit more about I'm gonna kind of interject myself into the conversation and be like, what was that about mystery and some wood from an old creepy ship here?
Well, the stories call it creepy, but, they came back with stories of strange beasts, and it's said they came back with a very unusual whale with
Was it tiny?
tentacle-like. No, it was very large, but it was said to have tentacle-like almost legs. I think they must have caught some sort of great squid. But you know how
They
these
caught a
stories
whale with
become.
a squid stuck in its mouth. Whales eat
It
squid.
Oh, I heard
it
that
could
can
be.
happen. I heard that can happen.
You said there was some wood?
Yes, part of the ship. The ship is long gone. I mean, it was.
Which room was that in?
Well, and he takes you to kind of a side room off of the room with the whale skeleton hanging over it. There are lots of exhibits, that are just on sort of the history of whaling. There are, pictures of whales, sketches of whales being drawn up onto ships, and which are kind of horrifying visages. And yes, it's a wooden floor here, and you can see it's kind of the planks do look quite old. Edgar points them out. All of these have been were recovered and restored, and they're under protective. They have some sealant to keep them safe, even though their feet are. I'm a little torn on this because it's not really good for them to be stepped on, but also it's amazing to be able to experience them like this here. Almost as though you were on the deep river in this room with some of these drawings, and he'll go and point out a small exhibit with little sketches from sailors, like a sailor's life at sea.
Are
Drawing.
there... Oh, sorry. No, just go.
This drawing right here is said to have been done by a sailor on the deep river. It shows a picture of a whale. It's a light sketch, a whale devouring a sailor.
Do you mean squid?
And
It's not devouring a squid?
well, long days on the sea, they would draw any little thing. They're all trying to keep their minds busy, and think on things. So you get some fantastical things people have drawn. So yes, there's a little sketch of a whale eating a sailor. And does anyone want to examine this?
I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah. Give me a meddling move to examine it, which is just your usual 2d6 and add your reason to it.
Okay, 5 and 1 is 6, plus reason is 7.
Okay, that is a success. You peer closely at it. You lean close to it's behind glass. You lean really close. And it's a light sketch. The ink has faded over time. But as you look really closely, it's like, okay, it's clearly the shape of a whale. It certainly seems to be eating a sailor. This whale definitely has the eye of a human. That's not a whale eye. That's a human eye that is looking out at you as it eats this sailor.
Is it a whale-sized human eye? Like, does it look very small as well, or does it just look like a normal whale eye, but with human characteristics instead of whale characteristics?
It's a normal. It's like the size of what a whale eye would be, so in scale with the rest of the whale. But it's a very human eye.
And like the eyelashes and the
Yeah,
eyelids.
yeah. As you're looking at this, Edgar says, "Oh, excuse me, I have something important I have to do," and leaves you to examining this.
So I figure
gonna
either he
see-
had a nightmare or he was really bored and was like, I wish some whale would just eat me so I could be done with this job.
I think sea madness took him.
I think the
There's
whale,
definitely not too much sun.
I
not
think
enough water.
one day a sailor was bit by a whale and contracted whale canthropy, and then could turn into a whale and eat people when the moon was full. And then they would come during the full moon, and they would rise up out of the water and block the moon, and they would eat people.
Whoa, hold up. I'm sorry. A lot of that sounded kind of like what you usually say, but what about that part about blocking out the moon?
Well, because it was so big. Even whales are
Oh, okay. That's probably not related to this thing that happened to me the other night.
big. Did you see a giant
Wait,
whale?
what thing?
Yeah, I thought I kind of forgot to tell you. When I was looking at the beach the other day, and I saw like this weird circle of something. It looked like people in cloaks chanting, and then I looked out onto the water, and there was something there, and then everything went dark, and then the moon came back, and they were gone. And I think I went back inside after that.
So by the other day, do you mean that night when you had
This
3
was-
glasses of wine?
This was also a few weeks ago, so it's been a little time, but not far too little time to have more terrible things happening.
Other day,
Not
other
that-
week. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
that night. That was when I went out onto the beach. I think you guys went.
Yes, I had to feed the cats.
Yeah, seems like you had our glasses of wine since we don't drink.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, maybe you wouldn't know then. This isn't something that usually happens to you when you drink, but maybe I wonder if Edward, I wonder if he,
Edgar.
yeah, I wonder if Edwin, has experienced this.
What, walking on the beach and the moon goes dark?
Not just the moon, everything. There was no moon. I don't even know if I know where the sand and the water like started and ended. It was really dark.
Maybe a blackout. Was there a blackout that night?
A blackout? Like of the water? Do ships do that?
No, like power and then like a cloud over the moon. It gets really dark.
I guess it could have been that. I was actually like, if it were a giant whale though, that would have made more sense. I think like a floating whale though, because everything went.
Have
dark.
you been watching one of those new Japanese television shows that all the kids are raging about?
Yes.
Yeah, a little
So-
too much wine, a little too much TV.
So as you're standing here having this conversation over this exhibit, you hear a scream, and the small number of people still in the museum, or there's some frantic activity going on.
Does it sound like a woman's scream, a man's scream?
Wow, that's a good question. I'm going to say it's a woman's scream. And you turn behind you, looking back towards the lobby, and he's been murdered. My
I hope Edwin's
cousin
okay.
is dead. And with that, we're going to cut to a commercial break. And that is our first episode of Brindlewood Bay. We will be back next week to see what is going on in this quaint, perfectly normal seaside town.
Blizzard Watch is made possible due to the generous contributions at patreon.com/blizzardwatch. Your continued support means that this podcast signing community is able to thrive and grow. Blizzard Watch supporters enjoy exclusive benefits like early access to our podcast, a better chance of having your question answered on our podcast with a queue, and an ads-free site experience. With that, folks, we'll see you next time.